Steve,
Yes, Karl.
guess what? They had a sale at the supermarket, and not only did I get you your whole chicken, I got whole chicken for 99 cents a pound. I bought two.
But Karl, I said I wanted whole fresh chickens.
They are fresh frozen.
Yes, but I wanted fresh, not frozen.
Well, in that case, you should have said so.
Do I have to be more specific?
Steve, do you see a sign on my head that says mind reader?
Shall you tell him, or shall I?
Yum, 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 yum.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to another edition of One Chef One Critic. I'm Karl Wells, food critic for The Telegram.
And I'm Chef Steve Watson of Central Dairies.
Well, Steve, since we have all of these whole chickens here,
Fresh.
and fresh, let's talk about chicken, because you're a very big proponent of buying the whole bird, right?
Absolutely, Karl. And the reason being is because of price. I could buy a whole chicken like this for $10, or I could buy 2 chicken breasts and a couple of chicken legs for $15, so to speak. So what I would do, I would buy my whole chicken, I would butcher it, get my 2 breasts, my legs. I've also got wings and possibly some bones left over for stock. So definitely multitasking with that, so to speak.
And for those of you who are a little bit intimidated about cutting up a whole chicken, don't be. It's a very simple thing to do. You can get a cookbook to show you how to do it, or you can just go to YouTube and watch a video.
Absolutely.
I'm sure
Yeah.
there's plenty there on how to cut up a whole chicken. In the trade, I think they call it fabricating a chicken.
Absolutely,
But it is a great money saver for sure. Coming up on the show today, our guest is Councillor Dave Lane of the City of St. John's, a man who wears many hats. And what are we going to be cooking today?
We're going to be making a spectacular seafood dish, and I'm calling it Grand Bank cod with fresh tomatoes and garlic and jumbo shrimp.
Oh, wow, that sounds great. And more seafood on the agenda today because Chef Rob Summers of Get Stuffed is with us to cook up mussels, so stay tuned. For a complete listing of One Chef One Critic recipes, wine lists, and more, check out our website. Let us know what you think of the show at 757-9600. And here we are with City Councillor Dave Lane, Councillor at Large.
Indeed.
Great to have you on the show.
Great to be here.
Stephen, tell us what we're going to be preparing.
Beautiful. So what I've got here is some really nice Grand Bank cod. I've got the loins there, Dave. And what we're going to be doing, we're going to sort that off with a little bit of garlic and some fresh tomatoes. We're going to top that with some jumbo shrimp. So let's get started. I'll put some oil into our pan. And I want you to saute some of our garlic for a start.
Okay, here we go.
I'm going to be careful not to burn that, and I'll give you a spoon there if you wish to take it out. And I'm going to be starting to chop some tomatoes up as well. So.
And I'm going to be making
Some Lyonnaise potatoes. Yeah.
fried spuds.
Fried spuds, absolutely.
Lyonnaise.
Like man likes them.
Yes, that's right.
So Dave, do you cook at all?
I like to say that I cook, but really, whenever I try to, it's generally a complete failure. My wife went away for a week a little while ago, and I was in charge of taking care of myself. And so I gave it a shot on day one. And it was a huge disaster. There was smoke everywhere. It didn't look fit to eat at all. So I just kind of had to chuck it in the garbage. I was concerned for my health. So we've made a pact with each other that it's time for Dave to learn how to cook.
So you must have been one of those bachelors who lived on craft dinner and TV dinners and takeout fish and chips, or?
Well, I have a picture. When I was in university, I had a mini fridge in my bedroom. I thought it was so cool. And there's a picture, and I was proud of this at the time. It's stocked with cans of Coke, and it has 2 huge Costco bags of Doritos next to it. So that was my health at the time. But since then I made it. I like to be healthy. It's a real. I put a lot of effort into it, and I've decided over the years I'm going to take Mom's advice, and I'm going to start cooking more vegetables. Eat less sugar. And I've been working at it, so I'll get there with my wife's help now, learning how to cook, and your guys' help.
Excellent. Yeah, when you're young, you can pretty much eat anything and get away with it, but after a while, it catches up with you. Did you always have an interest in politics when you were younger?
I feel like I grew into it a little bit. My dad has always been very community involved.
So public service was kind of a
Absolutely. I mean, it's something that both my parents think is very important, and so I was surrounded by it my whole life. But you know, the way that I think I got into politics was that through my dad's volunteer experience, he got to know Shani Duff, and she was involved with Big Brothers Big Sisters one year because he was president at the time, and they did Bowl for Millions. And I have a very distinct memory. I was 10 years old, and the mayor came to talk to my dad. And, you know, I thought this was a big deal, and Shani was the mayor at the time. So fast forward another 5 years or so, she was running for councillor at large at that time, and she needed someone to build a website, and I knew how to build websites. I guess this might have been 10 years later. And so I built a very early days of the internet website for her, and I started to get a sense of what it means to be in politics. Now, it was never very political in terms of, you know, the horse trading or, you know, the rhetoric and things like that, but I saw that it could be, you could really make a difference in your city. So then again, she ran 4 years later for deputy mayor, and this time I built a new website, but she needed someone to do social media, and to think one of the longest standing councillors was the most social media savvy at the time. This is 2009. But I had the opportunity to be her voice in a sense, because she had no time, and I was there doing the Twitter and the Facebook. So that really forced me to think about policy and messaging. And so then I took that, and here we are. Well, you know, really, I got involved with the community after that election through a group called Happy City. There was a big uproar over a big development that wanted to go in the heritage area of downtown on Water Street. And a lot of people were very concerned about that because it would destroy something important to us. Now, you know, there was such an outcry, they withdrew their proposal, and we felt at the end of that, a few of us said, you know, this isn't good enough. What happened was you had people against each other. You either were pro-development or you were anti-development. But we knew that wasn't the full story. So we started a group called Happy City that said, let's start facilitating a better dialogue, constructive solutions, not just A or nay. And through that, that's really how I think I got involved in municipality.
Oh, so is Happy City still on the go, or?
It is, you know. It was such a phenomenal, like, it was something that a lot of people wanted in their city. They wanted a place to go to just speak rationally and forward-looking, without yelling, without confrontation. And so a lot of people latched onto it. And in fact, I was able to, a year or so, just under a year before the election in 2013, say to my vice chair, Josh Smee, you know what? I would love it if you could take this so that I can focus on moving to city council and take a lot of the priorities that we had together there. So it continues, it's stronger than ever. I mean, there's people joining every day, and they're doing a lot of dialogue in the community.
Now, eventually, of course, probably because of your involvement with Happy City, you decided to run for city council.
Right.
And I imagine, you know, when you're running for city council, and a lot of people, you know, have friends say to them, you'd make a great councillor, you should run, you know. But then when you get in and you're serving, it's like a whole different, you know,
it's a different ballgame.
Situation. So what was that like for you? I mean, were you shocked or surprised or pleasantly pleased by what you discovered once you began serving?
Well, I was lucky with Happy City. I was going to meetings on a regular basis, first of all, just because we felt part of Happy City's mandate is to help inform people about what's going on. And with all the new media we have today, Twitter, Facebook, all that, I was starting to go. So I got to witness the meetings. And then I was also fortunate to be on 2 or 3 committees within council. So Heritage Advisory Committee, the Municipal Plan Review Committee. So by the time I actually got onto council, and of course I had met a few of the councillors and of course residents as I was campaigning, I had a good sense. The other nice thing about, I think, my time to enter council is that the city is really at a transformational point.
Absolutely.
Right, with the economy, but also there's a lot of new thinking. We have access to the internet, so we can say, how did Vancouver do it? You know, how did Europe do it? So there's a lot of optimism. And I think that makes it a bit easier. There's a bit of freedom to try new things.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. I'm glad that's been your experience, and hopefully it'll get even better as you progress
so far, so good.
through this journey of municipal politics.
Yeah.
What we have here, Dave, then we've got our tomatoes in there, put a little bit of juice, we laid our cod in there, we've got our jumbo shrimp, some oregano, and a little bit of seasoning. So we're just going to cover that, and that's only going to take about 3 minutes now until the cod and the shrimp are steamed through. So that's
edible already.
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah.
So, Dave, tell us about some of the committees you serve on, because some of them are actually are quite interesting. You were mentioning one that has to do with food security.
That's right, yeah. I'm so fortunate to be able to sit on a lot of committees, and in fact, as a counselor at large, as opposed to a ward counselor, I am actually given a bit more freedom to speak to broader issues. So one of the ones that I'm really excited about, and this is through the Environmental Advisory Committee, which I chair, is the Food Security Network, an organization in the province, has said we need to focus on policy. And so they came to the Environmental Advisory Committee and said we'd like to set this up with some city support. So we, council agreed, and we have a councillor, myself, representing the city on this committee, as well as staff support. So there's actually someone who can say take notes or bring us as a liaison back to city staff to make things happen. And what they're talking about is basically the whole food system, they call it, right? And sometimes it's referred to, farm to plate.
That's right.
We need to make sure that we have good agricultural policies. We need to talk about food security in terms of, do we have supply chain networks? There's this famous quote you keep hearing, we only have 3 days of food, and if there's a storm, we start seeing the changes. Can we talk? Can we have policies?
I think a lot of us find that really hard to believe.
Yeah.
But when you consider the fact that we're an island and we're totally dependent on our food being either flown in or brought in on cargo vessels, I mean, you can see it.
That's right. Well, you can't grow avocados here. Right? So you're going to have some sort of connection to the main.
Exactly. Yeah.
But you can grow a lot, and I think that's the exciting part here, is that if we can enable farmers to do more, if we can enable people at home to grow in their kitchen even, let alone their backyard, that's a huge step. But also, we need to look at restaurateurs. That's another huge part of the food system. Are they getting fresh local food? That's going to make the food taste better, and it's going to support the economy.
That's right.
Bring it on.
I'll be happy.
it's exciting
I'll be
stuff.
happy as long as we can continue to bring in good white wine.
Now we're talking.
Which is what I'm going to go off and get now.
Great.
And Steve, you can finish this off.
We will do, Karl. Thank you very much. No, I'm very interested in that. And, I like the field to fork concept, and it's really nice to hear that the city, which I wasn't aware of, is part of that. So.
Hi, Jeremy.
Hi, Karl.
Well, we've got the king of fish, cod, on the menu today, along with some shrimp, and we're introducing some tomato into that. So,
Okay.
tomato's a problem sometimes, isn't it? When you're trying to pair a wine with
I think
a
with
dish.
tomato, it's all about the acidity. Tomato adds that extra sort of burst of acidity, just like lemon or anything else would. So you kind of make sure you have some acidity in the wine that you're doing.
Right.
Otherwise, it makes everything taste kind of flabby.
Yes. Yeah.
So we kind of went a little bit higher on the acid side of things. I did incorporate a red as well for those of you who want red. But to start off, Vermentino from Italy. This is from Banfi.
Vermentino, is that the grape?
It is the grape. So Vermentino, I kind of think of it like Sauvignon Blanc, very clean, crisp, great acidity, but there's a slight different taste to Vermentino. It's almost like this slight herbal, in a good way. Think of like tarragon or a slight anise sort of bite to it, which I do enjoy.
I like that.
But very refreshing, and I think with the tomatoes would be great. Then after that, actual Sauvignon Blanc from Puy Fumé in the Loire Valley in France. A little bit richer, a little bit more structured. Going to seem not as fresh and lively as this, but it's sort of very classy and a beautiful Sauvignon Blanc. And then for the red, I went to Spain, Rioja, from Tempranillo grape. So this is going to be a lot of acidity to it, but you get a little bit of oak, you get a little bit of structure. I don't think it's going to kill your fish altogether, but for those who like red, I think it'll be fine.
Now, there's good Riojas and there's really bad Riojas.
Yes.
This is a good one.
This producer, Lopez de Heredia, is known worldwide for being an outstanding grower and also biodynamic. So no herbicides, pesticides, or chemicals in the vineyard, and no additives to their wine.
That's a plus for
quite
sure.
nice.
Yeah. Well, this is the Vermentino from Italy, right?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I like what you had to say about this. Little herby taste in there as well. So I'm going to go with this one, and I haven't tried it before. This is exciting. Thank you very much.
Enjoy. My pleasure.
Now we'll just put a few more of Karl's beautiful Lyonnaise potato on the plate, like so. And a few more of our shrimp with our tomatoes and garlic and oregano. A little garnish of some lemon. And let's go and visit Dave and Karl in the dining room and see what they think.
Nice white wine for a nice fish. Nice fish dish.
Delish, delish.
Man, that looks beautiful.
It does. Fantastic.
An embarrassment of riches. A bounty of seafood.
There you go.
Have a taste and
Shall do.
actually
Two of my favorite seafoods.
me too.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Thank you, Steve.
No problem.
Excellent. I love tomato with fish as well.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dave, I wanted to ask you about the electric car because I know you're a big fan of electric cars.
Right.
What's the quick case for them? I mean, when I think of electric cars, I think, they may be electric, but the electricity is generated here by oil.
Right.
So that's still not great for the environment, right?
That's right. But you look at 2017, it'll be generated by water with Muskrat Falls. So that was one nice thing. We'll be almost 99% sustainably charged in Newfoundland and Labrador by using the hydroelectric dams.
True.
And that's one side, and you're absolutely right. I thought of the same thing. But with electric cars, especially today, they've come a long way, and they're at a point where they're really ramping up in terms of efficiency, in terms of lower cost to produce them and buy them, but also the batteries are lasting a lot longer. And you see down in California where these things are really big, Elon Musk of Tesla Motors is creating what he's calling the Gigafactory, and they're just going to produce battery after battery after battery, and when you have a massive scale like that, the cost is going to go down and the technology is going to improve. So I think the city of St. John's is ready for electric vehicles.
I've seen a number of those Teslas in Florida, actually.
Okay.
That is one beautiful looking car.
It's a gorgeous
I
car.
don't know how it rides
Yeah.
or any of that stuff, but I know it's a gorgeous looking car. Yeah, well, that's kind of exciting, and hopefully one of these days we'll all be able to drive around and not have to put up with the stink of gasoline.
Yeah, that's right. And I think too, when you talk about electric cars, that's one of the newer things that are happening in this world,
Yeah.
And I think if we can start trying new things like that, we can create a better city. It's just a matter of trying new things, respecting and appreciating the old. I'm a
That's
huge
right.
advocate
Yeah.
of heritage
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
But if we keep looking forward and trying new things, we
Yeah.
can have a great
Yeah.
place.
Now, one thing that I don't know whether people know this or not, but you were the first drummer for Hey Rosetta.
That's right. Yeah. It's my claim to fame.
What was that experience like?
Oh, it was fantastic. When I first met Tim Baker, the lead singer, and he's the guy who really formed the band, it was at a Christmas party. And I remember that you said, "Tim, play a song, play a song." And so this guy, was a nice guy, I was getting to know him, and he was looking for a drummer, so I'm a drummer. But he got up to this keyboard, and he played a song that he wrote, and I said, "This is something special. What have I signed on for?" And so for the next year and a half, Tim and I, we pulled together a band. Again, it was really him spearheading it, and the musicians he brought on board were some of the best in this city, which is saying something.
Yeah,
And now they're touring all over the world. They're a huge success, and I'm extremely proud. I obviously took my own path.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm more of a
Yeah.
political type,
Yeah.
but the amount that I learned from that experience has been fantastic.
But you still dabble in music a bit because you sing. You're a member of the Quintessential Vocal Ensemble.
Yeah, and that's been a lot of fun. That's, again, since high school
Yeah.
that
Right.
I've been involved with singing. I sang with Newfoundland Men's Choir,
Yeah.
Inishmera Vocal Ensemble,
Yeah.
and I continue with Quintessential Vocal Ensemble. And these are world-class choirs,
They
again,
are,
out of St.
absolutely,
John's.
Yeah,
I must
yeah.
say.
Well, you're a class act. It's nice to have. It's
You
nice to have
gentlemen
you
are
on
fine as well.
One Chef One Critic. All the
Cheers.
best to you in your
Cheers.
future in politics and everything else. And when we come back, we're going to be with Chef Rob Summers of Get Stuffed, who's going to cook up mussels, more seafood. Well, a few years after it opened, Get Stuffed became one of the best loved and most popular restaurants in the city of St. John's. The loyal following for Get Stuffed just flock to the Sunday brunch there. It's one of my favorites, by the way. And we're delighted to welcome for the very first time the owner-operator, chef, chief cook and bottle washer of Get Stuffed, Rob Summers, to the program. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Excellent, excellent.
What are you doing for us?
Today we're going to do some spicy maple bourbon mussels. They are a favorite on the menu at Get Stuffed, and I guess we'll proceed right into it.
Absolutely.
I've had white wine with mussels before, but never bourbon, so this is going to be a new experience.
Excellent. Let me just put that up on high.
Okay.
And we got a little bit of shallot to get us started.
Yep.
Move that out of your way, Steve. Sorry.
Yep, no problem.
A little bit of canola oil,
Yep.
just to get that moving. And then we'll throw the mussels right in on it.
Okay. Perfect.
Just saute the shallot just a little bit.
I can smell the aroma going through it now.
Gets a little bit smoky, and then we'll add our bourbon right in.
Okay.
Maybe even get a little bit of fire on that. I don't know if it's going to do it or not.
There we go. Perfect.
And we'll cover it up.
And you say this is one of your popular items on the
Most
menu?
certainly is,
Okay.
yeah. All right.
Nice.
See those mussels cook away. So after the mussels open a little bit now, we will add a little bit of maple syrup, and I should season them as well. And we also have our chili flakes here as well.
Okay, so it's going to spice it
A
up
nice
little.
little liberal portion of that. Maybe if I can grab a little bit of water even, is that a possibility, Steve? Because I think I've burned off.
How much do you want?
Just a little fill there,
Okay.
just so I don't burn the bottom of the pan, because it was quite hot when we
you go.
got started.
Okay. They'll really steam through now, won't
There
it?
you go.
So you've been open what? You've been open 9 years now?
9 years on Dover Street.
And enjoying the venture?
Yes, it's an excellent time. Yeah.
yeah.
It's a great way to make a living and have a career. And
You've certainly made a mark for yourself, that's for sure.
there you go. I'll just add a little more salt and pepper to this as well now.
Yep.
Mussels seem to be opening a little bit there.
Yeah.
I like to move them every so often if I can, just because the mussels seem to, sometimes they'll sit on top of each other
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they won't open.
Yeah.
But we've got a nice big pan here, so that should
Absolutely.
be good.
And I can see the liquor coming through it now anyway, so.
There indeed.
And you can certainly smell that bourbon.
You can indeed, yeah. It's got the nice woody flavor to it.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
The almost sweetness, but we're going to bump that up now with a little bit of maple syrup
Syrup,
as well.
okay.
And then at the end, we'll finish it with just a little bit of toasted almond for more
Yep.
nuttiness and some cream. And I kind of like to put the cream in at the end, because if you put it in early, I find it'll start to split. And then your sauce won't look as creamy.
Yeah.
And so yeah, when you finish it off, a nice little bit of bread to go with the mussels is always nice too, because the sauce is very creamy.
Creamy, yeah.
And you got the spiciness to it as well.
Excellent.
Rob, do you ever get any comments from, you must get comments from customers about the restaurant's name?
Yes.
Get Stuffed.
Yeah, it's it's a different kind of name, but it's kind of something we decided to go with early. Maybe a little bit of a reverence towards the foodie scene. I don't know
Yeah.
if that was what we really intended,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
but it also adds in, you can get extra size portions if you wanted to as well.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
if you don't like it, you know the name.
Well, it's certainly a name that you remember.
You will, yes,
Which
absolutely.
in marketing, I guess, is all that's important.
It is pretty good. And yeah, we've got a great location too, I must
Yeah.
say. Right on Darker Street across from the War Memorial. You couldn't ask for any better.
No,
'cause
Yeah.
You've got kind of the unobstructed view of the harbour through
Yeah.
the War Memorial. And
Which are very fortunate.
Yes.
Very, very fortunate. And you've got 2 levels there, haven't you?
We do have 2 levels.
You get more so for private parties upstairs, is it?
Well, we do a normal service with it, but yeah, if you wanted to come in with anywhere from like 12 to like 40 on the second floor, it's no problem to do.
problem with
So
that.
they're looking pretty good
They look
there
pretty
now.
good there now, yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
I'll pop that lid off for just a second.
Yeah,
Put that
absolutely.
there.
That's good.
They're opened up. All right, and I'll just pop a little bit of cream in here now.
Always nice.
That's the
And that's a 35% cream,
This
right?
is
Yeah,
35% Central Dairies, obviously.
Oh, well, thank you very much. And then ours.
A little bit of maple syrup. Now, where I've added a fair bit of the chili flakes to it, I'm not really that concerned about adding a lot of maple syrup
Syrup,
now, because you're going to really get the spicy and the sweet at the same time.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah.
And there we go.
Just cap it for a couple of seconds
Tap it
there.
for a second.
And they're almost there, ready, so to speak. So.
All right.
And it's nice to have good organic mussels from Trinity Bay as well. So,
It is indeed.
Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, I can just move that around a little bit. I'll turn this off.
yeah.
Give a little stir and pop it into the bowl.
Oh, they're beautiful. Opened up nicely. What's that, about 3 minutes?
Yeah.
Instant meal.
And I do like it. Nice hot pan to get started, because
Yeah.
I find they open a lot better.
Very good.
Okay, I'm just going to quickly taste one of those, because we're, as usual, running out of time.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. There's a live one. There we go. Nice and hot.
Very good.
You can taste the maple and the bourbon.
Burbiness coming through.
Yeah.
Good.
Good, good.
Well, thanks so much for being with us, Rob.
Thank you
It's
for
great
having
to
me.
have
Appreciate
you.
it.
And that's it for this edition of
One chef.
One Critic.
Do I have to be more specific?
It didn't work.